pleased to say I have an athlete, a junior athlete, not just any junior athlete joining me. It's a very special junior athlete, all the way from down under in Australia. His name is Tayleb Willis. He's only 18 years old. He has run 13:48 for the 110 hurdles, and he's one of the most exciting talents in Australian athletics. And Taleb, I hope we see there from the background that it's obviously quite late night in Australia at the moment. So we thank you, first of all, for staying up well past your bedtime, no doubt, to stay with us. I've no doubt that probably watching some of the action from afar here, I'm sure you're getting pangs of remorse that you'd love to be in Nairobi this week.
Uh, Thank you so much for having me. And yes, it is 11:05 p.m. here in Melbourne, Australia. So it is quite late, but I'm very happy to be here.
That's great to have you. Have you been able to follow much of the action so far? What have you been enjoying? What are you most looking forward to?
Yes, I have. So as I saw, sorry about that. Just before I saw Sacha Zoya break the world record, which was very exciting to see. Obviously hurdles, which I would have been um, participating in. So yeah, that was definitely my highlight of the event so far. And I'm looking forward for the final. I think tomorrow.
Yeah, it is indeed tomorrow. I think that was probably why Zoya was running all out to the finish there. And I think I have to say, it looked like I've only watched it once so far, but it looked like he clipped a few hurdles there as well. Like, do you think we're going to see something even faster maybe tomorrow than 12:93, which is pretty ridiculous in itself?
Yes, I think potentially he could put down a 12:8, because yeah, he definitely hit a few hurdles. So yeah, very quick.
Yeah, and we'll obviously we're going to be talking a bit about you soon. We won't you promise we won't just make you talk about Sasha Zoya the whole time, but given we've just witnessed a piece of athletics history here, I mean anyone who's watched Sasha Zoya the last few years knows that he's a bit of an outlier. He's a very very special athlete. But for you, I guess as a peer and a rival of his, what is it about what he does that makes him stand out so much? That makes him so special, I guess.
Look, so I just love the way he carries himself with when he competes and everything. Like he's a very hype person, which I definitely take a lot from him to bring to my game as well. Like I would 110% say that he's helped me get as far as I am today from just watching him grow up and everything like that. Because he was in Australia before he moved to France, and yeah, I used to just watch him all the time, and yeah, definitely got inspired from that.
And I suppose a lot of us who are in between and neutral countries, I suppose, in the war going on over to get the talents of Sacha Zoya the last few years between Australia and France, would kind of wonder, how much did people want him, because in terms of it was clear he was going to be a very special talent if he continues on this current trajectory. So, like in Australia, what is the feeling? Was there a bit of sadness when he did eventually declare for France that he wouldn't be wearing the green and gold internationally?
100%. Yeah, Australia was very sad, but to be honest, I was kind of happy because I want to be the best hurler in Australian history ever. So now he's not there, it gives me kind of a better chance now.
Absolutely, absolutely. And we've already got a couple of questions coming in the comments section, so we'll just revert to that for the moment because Etsy Nural has asked, well, first of all, he said, or he or she has said, it's such a pity not to have Australia at these champs, and we very much echo that sentiment. But they've asked us, when is your next competition, Taleb? Given it's winter down under
So
at the moment, or coming into spring, I guess.
yeah, so it is winter at the moment in Australia. I'm in the middle of my preseason right now, just building myself, putting in the hard yards, getting ready for next season, as I have World Championships next season, and I'll be opening up my season in January early next year, and then hopefully can have a really massive season and go really big.
Good stuff. And how did everything go for you in the strange years, I suppose, that were 2020 and 2021? I'm sure you probably haven't left Australia in quite some time.
Yeah, look, it was very challenging, but I made no excuses whatsoever. I've got everything around me that I need. I've got my own gym, my a track very close to my house, so it was all about just preparing myself and keeping my fingers crossed to hopefully I could get some competitions that I can deliver some good results at.
Excellent, good stuff. And just before I ask you a few more questions, just remind some of our viewers about, I guess, what's coming up over the coming 2 hours. We're going to be on air until after 6 p.m. local time. That is what time is that? That's 5 p.m. CET. So for another 2 hours, and it's not just going to be passive. We want interaction here. We want comments, but mostly we also can offer you something, and we can offer you two brilliant ASICS backpacks. We're going to have one prediction contest. Those who tuned in the last 2-3 days will know all about this. To our new viewers, you can either predict the winner of one of the events. We won't tell you the event just yet, or the other prediction contest will be based on a trivia question about the history of the World Under 20 Championships. So that first competition is going to be coming up in about 20 minutes time. So stay tuned, keep those fingers at the ready. Google wherever you need to go, Bing, whatever search engine you like, or Bible of Athletics you choose to find your information. Get ready to find it, because at 4:30 we're going to be asking you a question about the history of these championships, and the first person in that comment section with the right answer will win themselves a beautiful ASICS branded World Athletics Under 20 Championships Nairobi backpack. That was a mouthful. Anyway, back to you, Taleb. I suppose we've been getting a lot of athletes on here, young, old, everything in between, legends of the sport, new stars. You're very much one of the rising stars of the sport. If we could just go back to try and find out a bit more about your history, how did you get started as an athlete, and where did your journey into sport begin?
So when I was younger, I tried a lot of different sports, from gymnastics to basketball to football to karate. Then I came across athletics. I tried a lot of events through Little Athletics, and I just came upon hurdles and I absolutely fell in love with it. I saw I had a talent. It was my whole family as well. My older sister, Tayleb Willis, she was at the World Under 20 Championships 3 years ago as well in Finland. And yeah, it's just a great hobby of me, and hopefully I can take it as far as I can and conquer my goal of being the best hurdler ever.
It's a big ambition. Who did you look up to growing up, either Australian or internationally? Who were the kind of people you looked to as hurdlers, as athletes, as sports people, even as people who to kind of model yourself on, I suppose?
Yeah, so obviously my biggest inspiration is my mum, because she's always driving me everywhere, motivating me, keeping me up when I'm down, and always supporting me, which I absolutely love. But in the sport, my hurdle idol has always been Aries Merritt, the world record holder. Just his story is absolutely amazing, and I absolutely just love everything he does on the track. So yeah, he's amazing.
Brilliant. And in terms of, I guess, then your older sister obviously followed her way into the sport. Was that a kind of a sibling rivalry at all growing up? Were you competing? Were you racing on the street? Were you fighting?
Yes, 100%. We used to always fight about who's achieving the most and everything like that. So she's definitely helped me be as successful as I am today. And yeah, it's great to have her in the sport as well.
Brilliant. And like, I guess beyond your performances on the track, it's fair to say you've built a big following, in terms of online, social media, Instagram, wherever it be. It's always, I guess, a new aspect to the sport for dinosaurs like me who are in their 30s. It feels a little strange that, it's such a big part of being an athlete now is to promote yourself. There'll be a lot of other young people, I'm sure, watching this stream on Twitch, and kind of maybe a lot of other young athletes kind of wondering how can I build my brand, I suppose, and popularize myself as an athlete beyond just my performances. What advice would you give, and what have you found is quite effective in that realm in terms of building up your own story for people to follow?
Yeah, so social media is an absolute great branding platform for athletes, as most people would know. And how I got into it and how I got big was just posting consistently, trying to post content that was viral worthy, and just having fun with it as well. That's the biggest thing. You have to have fun with what you're doing. And yeah, I'm just really happy with who the amount of supporters I have on there, and hopefully I can keep growing that. And yeah, it's amazing.
Absolutely. We've got some more questions coming in the comment section, so we'll hit you with them before we hit you with my questions. What's your favorite track?
Awesome.
Ask Kato Potato 16.
What was that, sorry?
What's your favorite track?
My favorite track would probably be, I would say, Perth in Australia. Their main track. I'm pretty sure it's called HBF Stadium. I love that track because it's Mondo. so it's not synthetic, which I don't really run on Mondo tracks that often. So when I run on that, I feel really springy and yeah, 10 times as fast.
Excellent. We've got a really important question that's come in here from K Silva 211. They've said Parmigiana or Parmigiana. I'm assuming this is Australian thing. No? How do you pronounce it?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure she's talking about cheese. I'd probably say Parmesan. I'm pretty sure that's how
Parmesan.
you say it. Yeah.
Okay, okay. Well, there's K Silva seems to be suggesting there's a national divide, I guess, about Parmigiana or Parmigiana. We'll move on. Masked Stories has asked, "What's your best advice for young Aussie sprinters?"
I'd just say work hard, have fun, and stay consistent at your training because consistency definitely beats talent. Like everyone's seen that quote, and I 100% agree with it. But yeah, just keep working hard, and your time will come.
Excellent. 350. Future hammer thrower has asked us, "Who's your favorite Aussie athlete?"
Okay,
This could get
that's a
controversial.
tricky one. I would probably say right now it would be Peter Ball because
Yeah.
as he went absolutely crazy at the Olympic Games and come fourth in 800 meters, it's just been amazing to watch him grow up and improve. So yeah, he would be my favorite.
Yeah, I was enjoying the reaction. And to be honest, when I saw Peter Ball come fourth in the Olympics and saw the reaction in Australia, I kind of wondered what would happen if he got the bronze medal, or indeed the gold or silver. It'd probably be a national shutdown with it.
I know Australia got around us athletes a lot, and that's what I'm really excited to do. Hopefully, I can get there in Paris, and hopefully, I can get that same reaction because it would just be amazing. And especially medaling, I don't know what we would do back here, but it'd be crazy.
Excellent. Baby K RFM 30 has asked, "Who's your favorite person to run against?"
Okay, so my favorite person to run against in hurdles would probably be Ethan Harris, who is I've been training with him ever since I was 8, and we've been rivalries ever since. And he's just a great mate for me. So it's really awesome versing a mate. So yeah, it's great.
Cool. Got one more coming in. Joshy8881 has asked, "How much of your speed is natural talent?"
Okay, so I'd probably say maybe half is natural talent because I work very hard, and I know I need to work very hard to be successful. So I know I've got good genetics with my dad being Ghanaian and my mum being Australian, but you've definitely got to work hard to get your results as well.
Cool. So, and in terms of then outside of sport, what are you doing? Are you studying, working, going to college, anything like that?
Yeah, so currently I am finishing my school in year 12, doing VCE. It's very challenging at the moment considering I have to do online school because of the coronavirus lockdown that we're in. But I'm chipping away at that and doing pretty well. Hopefully, after school, I can be looking at hopefully going to college and yeah, really lifting up my athletics game.
Cool. And who are the Australian athletes now that I guess the World Under 20 Championships is typically our window into the future in terms of who's going to be populating the Australian teams at the Paris Olympics, at the LA Olympics 7 years from now. But given they can't be here this year, obviously besides yourself, who are the sort of young Australian names that we all need to be looking out for, the kind of teenagers who will be starring roles at senior level in the years to come?
Okay, so I'd 100% say one of my best friends, Aiden Hinson, in the triple jump. He's an absolute great talent, improving absolutely amazingly every year, and I'm really excited to see what he can do. I'd probably say more athletes like Tori Corey Lewis. She's only 16 years old and she qualified for the World Under 20 Championships in the 100 meters, and she's running some great times. So yeah, I'd definitely say them two would probably be my highlight too that I would think.
Cool. More questions. You're lighting up the comment section here.
Thank you.
Gaming Il Depi has asked, "How did you do on your first ever 100 meters and how old were you?"
My first ever 100 meters, did you say?
Yes.
Yeah. I was honestly probably the first time I did a proper 100 was probably when I was around 10. I did a competition called Victoria's Fastest Kid, and pretty sure I ran around 14 seconds actually. So yeah, it's pretty crazy to look back then. But yeah, I'd say 14 seconds was one of my
And
first times in
and
100
in,
meters.
and in terms of Victoria's fastest kid, how close were you to Victoria's fastest kid at that age, or were you Victoria's fastest kid?
I'm pretty sure I actually came second in that one. I was close to winning, but yeah, I got pipped on the line.
Excellent. Someone else, I think it's Baby K RFM, has asked, would you race Usain Bolt? Now let's just paint a scenario here. We're not going to make you race Bolt in his prime, but current Usain Bolt, he hasn't raced in 4 years or so. Do you reckon you can take Usain Bolt?
That would be an absolute dream come true. Just even to make some videos with him would be amazing. But he would definitely still beat me now because he's an absolute beast. But yeah, it would be an absolute amazing privilege to verse him.
Excellent. Future Hammer Thrower has asked if you're ready for Perth Nationals.
Yeah, that is very true. Both my goals then would to be breaking the Australian record at that championship. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that.
What's the Australian record so we can follow along?
The Australian record is 13:27 by Nick Huff, who ran at the recent Olympic Games.
Excellent. Josh Young _10 has asked, what was your 100-meter time before you started training hard?
I'd probably say my 100 time was, I would say about going back 2 years before I took hurdles really seriously. I was running about mid 12 seconds.
Awesome.
So yeah.
What other question? Oh yeah, I guess given this is the World Under 20 Championships, we're all about making that transition to senior level. So we're asking a lot of legends and young athletes their best advice they've ever got in terms of progressing in athletics. So what is the best advice you've ever got, or what is the best advice you would offer other young athletes?
Was probably making sure you don't overtrain yourself. I've got my mentor, John Stephenson, who's an absolute legend. He is a former Commonwealth gold medalist and a Olympian. And he told me the biggest thing to do is making sure that recovery is very important. Like what you don't recover from is what you don't improve from what you don't recover from, which I think is a great key to keep in your head when moving forward to the open senior ranks.
Excellent. I think that is a great word of advice that many people don't really realize, certainly at the age of 18. So it's great that John passed it on to you.
Yeah.
Very much so. We'll just
100%.
check in here if we've any more comments. Baby KRFM has said, do you think your little sister will go to the Olympics?
Look, hopefully she can continue in me and my sister's footsteps. But yeah, you never know. She's definitely got the talent. It's just if her head stays into the sport, because obviously she's young, so it's a bit hard to tell.
Excellent. And we'll just wrap up with one more quick one. Zen Clark, who I hope you know, that's her username on Twitch. They've said, are you going to race me in the 100 or 200 this season? He's laying down the gauntlet.
Yes, I do know him, and that would be great to verse him. Would be good. Yeah, it'd be exciting.
Excellent. Cool. Well, listen, Taleb, it's been an absolute pleasure to have you. We wish it could be longer, but I suppose we've got a succession of guests coming on and competitions to run. But it's been wonderful to have you. And if you're willing to burn the midnight oil some other night and come on the next couple of days, we'd be delighted to have you back and perhaps get your thoughts on Mr. Zoya and all the other great athletes we have here. One final question. We've got a lot of new followers, I suppose, and many Australians, I suppose, tuning in. What's your message to all the new Twitch followers who are just joining this World Athletics Twitch platform?
Well, thank you so much for tuning in to this amazing stream held by World Athletics, which has been an absolute ball to have me on here. and yeah, keep joining these live streams and interacting with them.
Excellent. Well, I think Lambi in the comment section there is speaking for many of us. He said, Taleb, you're my hero. So you've made many new friends and new followers today. Taleb, thank you so much for joining us. It's been a pleasure. We'll let you get some sleep and hopefully we'll catch you again soon. Take care.
I appreciate it. Thank you so much for having me today. And thank you. Everyone, if you want to follow me on Instagram, at Tayleb Willis, same as TikTok. Thank you.
Follow that man. He is going places and he's going
Legend.
places fast. Taleb, thank you so much. We're back in this.